Hello and welcome to the training log for the weeks of May 22nd and 29th, 2023. Once again, I'm doing a 2-week recap as opposed to a weekly recap, partially just because there's not tons of new stuff to talk about and I don't want to just kind of dither around for no purpose. And second, because I am a bit busier than normal these days, so I'm not getting around these as much as I usually do. But the working out is always a high priority, so it is being still done at its full frequency and duration. I've found in the last 2 weeks that I am having issues with my shoulder instability lifting. Not so much, I think, because there's any pain or structural damage or that much lingering problems from the injury. It's gotten weak in the last almost 10 weeks. So I've had to really focus on building up its strength, not being hesitant with it, and even more specifically, build up mobility, which is what I was working on with that dumbbell exercise you saw right before it. I'm trying to get back that last little bit of range at full, I think it's either external rotation or extension or, I don't know, I'm not an anatomist. Pressing is coming back strong, particularly horizontal pressing. This is 2 plates for 19, which is a far shot from my best at what I want to say 30, but I have not been practicing with the barbell that much, so it's a bit of lack of technique, and obviously I'm a bit weaker, so I'm pretty happy with it. This is the bigger victory, I think. I've been working with this Viking press for the last many weeks now. It's a very good unilateral shoulder movement. It's stabilized, so I don't need as much of a demand. I can go at a slightly more beneficial angle for my injured shoulder because the fixed arm, but I've been working at like under 2 plates for maybe 10 reps on the left side, and that was 20 reps at 2.5 plates. So obviously I've been sandbagging my shoulder pressing, and after I did that I figured, you know what, I'm probably also sandbagging the right side, so I went and did 20 reps with 4 plates. Now I will note that on this machine, the weight where it's placed relative to the arm's pivot point, it's about half the way it's lifting, so I'm not really putting up 180 with one arm. I was closer to 90, but still pretty good for 20 reps. I've also been working a lot on this chest press machine. I've gotten to the point where my left side is almost caught up with my right. I've got 2.5 on the left side and 3 plates on the right, and the left is a little bit more of a limiting factor, but it's very close to being equal to the right with these weights right now. So I'm seeing it's probably not going to be that long of a time before my right and left shoulder, at least on this movement, are going to be pretty dang close. I don't have any videos of it, but for pulling, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some angles are pretty close, some are a little bit farther between. Like most things, I just kind of got to take each individual type of movement at its own pace, even down to the specific angles and whatnot. 2 weeks ago, I think I skipped this day. I don't remember why. Maybe I was just tired or something, but I did do my strongman event training this week, and I'm still basically at the same point in squats. It's feeling like the bigger limiting factor is mostly just the pauses at the top and the bottom and the time limit. These reps could probably be a little bit faster, and I imagine they will be once I'm under competition settings. I mean, there's a bit of extra adrenaline there, and you know that you just got to give it all, so it's a little bit easier to really push it. But I'm really focusing on just trying to stay balanced, getting consistent reps, not stumbling at all and having to reset, and more importantly, getting a solid rest at the top and the bottom, so that way if the judge is harsh, I'm ready for it. If they're more generous, well, then that's just a perk. But I'm still kind of playing with it. I'll have a few more sessions before the competition in a month from now, but I'm finding that maybe a looser lower grip is better than a high and tight one. With the grip shirt on, the yoke sits pretty solid on its own, so I don't necessarily need the arms to keep the whole thing stable. So keeping them lower almost feels better. Maybe it's because it's more like a deadlift or something, but I'll have to keep playing with that. The yoke run and sleg pull were a little bit slower than the last time I did them. Last time I felt like I was really zooming. These were just a little bit more stumbling, not quite as fast. I think it's like 2 seconds slower if I remember correctly. But I was just a bit tired this day in general. I think I did something heavy right before it. I think I had an 855-pound deadlift of some kind that I probably have a video of later on this video. But that doesn't really help you when you're trying to do these events to have that kind of fatigue already in your body. But hopefully I won't be doing any heavy deadlifts the day before the actual competition, but no promises there. Back to the farmer's walk, still probably my least favorite of the events. Something about the distance mentality and wanting to keep a good grip keeps me going slower. Like I was going much faster with a heavier weight last year when I was training this. And these turns, I really hate these turns, because no matter what I try and do, the momentum of those heavy ass farmer's handles always turns that way, and you have to correct that. So I still haven't found a good solution for that. Someone told me to rotate my wrists against the turn before you start it, try and like add some artificial sway the other way to kind of counteract that. We'll see how well that works when I test it this week, but I mean, the turns are just so slow, and fighting back that momentum slows you down the next part, and all that moving around just really destabilizes the grip. So while I'm pretty sure I could hold this weight for the full 75-second duration, even if I was walking just in a straight line, adding in those turns just really kills the grip, and I cannot keep hold of it for the whole 75 seconds. So we'll see where I can get that next month. Good news is I can one swing launch the heaviest bag, no problems, and it doesn't bug my shoulder in a slice. So that's at least one event that I'm perfectly ready for. This is the heaviest single lift I've ever done of any kind. This is 1,300 pounds for a minimum distance above the knees rack pull. My only goal here was to simply get it off the safeties, and I thought I'd have a little bit more range, but I keep underestimating how much this stiff bar bends with obscenely heavy loads. So I got maybe an inch and a half, but that's all I need because I just wanted to lift something. I'm really happy that my shoulder can bear this load because it means it can bear any load. Anything I can conceivably deadlift with that shoulder now should be a-okay, because that is 650 pounds on just that one arm, which is pretty dang good for being 10 weeks out of a shoulder dislocation. Besides that, I had two other deadlifts I did the last 2 weeks. This one is a maximum grip, maximum stance. I guess you call it a sumo snatch grip type deal. Technically it's still conventional, but very difficult. Only got the 6 plates. Thought I'd be able to do more, but just not an advantageous position at all, particularly for me. This is a hangman's deadlift, which is basically the reverse of the yoke / hangman's deadlift I did a couple weeks ago, and the pressure in that area almost knocked me out, but I managed to hold on. So fun, neat video. That's about all I have for this week, so I will see you all real soon.